If you thought 250 gold Black Lotuses were bad, just wait until you're paying 3 to 4,000 gold per Primal Might. Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Drydeck. I do videos about different Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and World of Warcraft mods. If any of that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing below, as there'll be many more videos in the future. So, you want to play Classic TBC. I assume most of you who have decided to click on this video are fully engulfed in the Classic WoW world at the moment. To be honest, I'm not here to talk badly about people who truly love Classic WoW and everything it stands for. I'm honestly very happy that people have been able to find a game to really fall in love with again, something that I think is sadly disappearing from the gaming world right now. But this video really is aimed at those who have played for a while, or those who haven't played for quite some time, but have kept up on the news about the game like I have, that might be starting to feel the weight of some of the very glaring problems that are ravaging the game in its current state. Let's get into this, guys. I'll see you on the other side. For the sake of keeping this video concise and easy to digest, I will break this video down into smaller sections going over each point. I'll leave timestamps below the video so you can listen to each point at your own pace. Point number 1, the player base is too good at the game. This point might seem a little ambiguous. What do I mean the player base is too good? For this point, I will be pulling more from my past experiences more than my present. So cast your mind back to retail vanilla. Less than 1% of the player base ever killed a single boss in Naxxramas. Many players never even got to see Nefarian in Blackwing Lair, including myself. We were playing on computers that would lock up for 15 to 20 minutes just from walking into Ironforge or Ogremar. Hitting max level took 3 to 6 months for most players. Then TBC launches, the most hardcore expansion to ever be released, supposedly. The Mountain Dew is cold, Hot Pockets are on hand, and we start to level our asses off. We get to level 70, start farming those reputations to Exalted to get into the brand new heroic dungeons. Remember, it was Exalted on release, not revered. Your first Shattered Halls heroic run. The tank charges into the first pack and gets killed before your paladin can even get his flash of light off. Just what in God's name did we step into? It's hard to describe accurately to those who didn't get to see it when it was current content, but it seemed absolutely impossible to those who got to do it very early on into the expansion. That level of difficulty extended into every raid all the way through the end of the expansion. Just from my own raids, I can't even tell you how many times our tank would get 3-shot on a new boss, or our entire raid would be wiped by a mechanic so simple that a modern-day RuneScape bot could handle it. Even thousands of gold worth of consumables and hours worth of buffs could not make up for the fact that most of the player base that was objectively really bad back in vanilla are now raiding in this new expansion. Not to mention a lot of the people playing were also in their early teens. Not the best thing for a team of 25 trying to progress when 13 of your members are still learning algebra in school. So, looking at the current state of Classic WoW, the world first kill of Ragnaros was achieved in less than 3 days by a raid half full of level 58 characters in green gear. Obviously, these guys are god gamers, very skilled at the game. But reflect on your own progression through these raids. How hard was Molten Core for your raid team? I'm sure there is at least a few guys on your team who have played private servers over the years, so these bosses are pushovers for them. Even for the new guys, you have to contend with 1, maybe 2 mechanics on a harder boss to be considered a raider in Classic WoW. Objectively, compared to retail WoW, the average dungeon boss is harder and has more mechanics than most raid bosses in Classic WoW. And just in general, people playing video games are getting better and better as the years go on. We have had years of playing Souls-like games, high-paced FPSs, and battle royales. The average video game player is much quicker to adapt and overcome challenges than ever before. Regardless of where you may fall in the grand scheme of players, you will more than likely be playing with some outstanding people. You may be asking yourself at the end of Classic TBC, was it really as hard as people said it was? My prediction, it's going to be a far easier game this time around. If people are clearing the hardest raid ever made, Naxxramas, in less than 45 minutes, it's a pretty clear indication that the game is way easier than the stories we've been told. Point number 2. TBC's infrastructure isn't designed to accommodate the way people play nowadays. For this point, I will have to draw mostly on my experiences with the private server I play on called Project Ascension. During the first month or two of the launch for TBC for Project Ascension, there was easily 5,000 plus players milling about the Outlands. From what I understand, at its peak popularity, the mega servers of Classic WoW had 10,000 plus people on them, much more than any vanilla server ever had, by the way. So what exactly do I mean when I say it's not designed to accommodate? Essentially, the way most people engage with the game these days is to find the most efficient method for whatever their goals are and focus solely on doing that. This style of play worked when the world map was bigger, but going into TBC, the available space is going to be drastically reduced. All those gold making guides showing off overlooked or underpopulated areas won't be the same when TBC comes out. If you shove 10,000 or more players into an area that is much, much smaller than the available space in Classic WoW, the best areas for solo gold making are going to be stripped dry faster than you can blink. The problem is going to be 10 times worse for anyone still suffering along on a PvP server. Do you honestly believe that you're just going to be able to randomly go up to the elemental plateau and casually collect a few primal fires? It's just not going to happen, man. The Devil Sower mafias that dominated early vanilla are going to be rampant in TBC. And the fact that many of the materials found within TBC are used throughout the entirety of the expansion will just make these issues a never-ending problem for the larger servers. If you thought 250 gold Black Lotuses were bad, just wait until you're paying 3,000 to 4,000 gold per Primal Might. Touching briefly on all the crazy shit mages have gotten up to in Classic WoW, TBC dungeons and raids are going to be subject to the same abusive behavior that has ruined much of the magic these zones will have. If Blizzard doesn't do anything to fix mob pathing or line of sight abuse, we will be in for another year of World of Magecraft. I'm not sure how you felt about it, but when I was Holy Nova spamming my way through DM Lasher runs on my priest making anywhere from 50 to 60 gold an hour, and thinking that was good, seeing mages pulling 600 plus mobs in Meridon or selling ZG boosts making 400 gold an hour made me really second guess why I was even playing my class. It's not a very fun experience having to grind 4 to 5 hours to afford a single flask on my priest when I could just reroll a mage, get him boosted to 60, and make 3 times that with green gear on. Point number 3, and I think this is the most important, bots are going to get way worse with TBC. I think anyone who's been playing Classic WoW long enough or just opens YouTube for 10 minutes, you will see how terrible the botting situation in Classic WoW is right now. On different content creators' channels like Willy, he has made 10 plus videos discussing this issue and the ramification that have come from Blizzard's inaction on this problem. At any given point on a populated realm, you can /who Blackrot depths and see the entire page filled with rogues pickpocketing or groups of 60s farming Sunken Temple all day, every day. Why do I think it's about to get a whole lot worse, you might ask? Well, we're about to go into the most hardcore expansion ever, right? The stories people tell us of having to spend 12 plus hours every day just to keep up with the reputation grinds, food management, flasks, gear enchants, gems, etc., are true to an extent. The reality is it will be vastly more expensive and time consuming than Classic WoW is right now. And the mindset leading into TBC is, I gotta have all the things to do anything. So where are people gonna get all this gold? I'll let you speculate on that, but bots are going to have a much higher incentive to crank up production. More people needing those blue gems to show off to their friends and have golden spell threads on their level 62 dungeon pants are going to astronomically raise the demand for gold and the barrier of entry for the average player. Good luck to anyone who thinks Nate Grand won't be botted into oblivion, or thinks they can get away with heading up to Netherstorm to score some free Nether Bloom during non-peak hours. Bots are going to dominate the market. The price of gems, herbs, and profession materials are going to increase tenfold overnight once the hordes of bots reach level cap and start to infest the Outlands. Point number 4, progressive patches are way healthier for the longevity of the game. This one is a personal preference, but one of the biggest reasons why I quit playing Classic WoW is because the game was in a static state from day one. Yes, I know we had phases, but that was just a roadmap style release schedule we see from other AAA companies now. The biggest problem with that is while we did get new toys to play with, we all knew how the toys worked before we even got our hands on them. What do I mean by this? The game was solved from day one. Everyone who had the knowledge to pull up a patch note breakdown could tell you exactly which materials, farming methods, and items are going to be coming out in each of those patches from the start of the game, allowing certain people to hoard materials in banks and manipulate the player base into shelling out 10 times what they should have paid just because they didn't want to be that guy who plays all day, right? The top 1% of the player base dictates what the other 99% of players will see on the open market and will do everything they can to retain that power. Besides the obvious implication the system has on the economy of the game, the characters we are playing are going to be the same from day one all the way through the expansion. The best specs, the most efficient thing for your class will never change, ever. That sounds extremely boring to me. I don't know about you guys and gals, but I look back fondly on patch days, seeing what is being changed, which bugs and abuses were fixed, and most importantly, how classes are being changed. You got to see the meta being shifted, even if it was just slightly, in your raids every week, your new heroic dungeon group, and in your battlegrounds and arenas. These changes kept the game fresh and exciting, and this pre-patch stagnation we're going to experience again sounds horribly dull and boring. Point number 5. Blizzard cares about their profits, not the game. You know this isn't a good Classic TBC video without talking about Blizzard, right? This will be a shorter point than the others, so don't worry about it too much. The sad reality is Blizzard knows their own players are desperate to see Blizzard return to the glory days of WoW. That fantasy time when Blizzard were the good guys and everything they did was perfect. Nothing could go wrong, right? Nostalgia is a powerful effect, and they know this. The fact that Blizzard knows this, they will leverage your feelings against you to squeeze all the money they can out of the game and its players. Ever since TBC Classic has been announced, Blizzard has already shown their true intentions for the game. They saw the success of Classic WoW, but they also saw an opportunity to make even more money. They introduced an in-game shop, level 58 boosts, and now they are forcing players who want to play the Classic experience to pay them $35 to preserve the memories they have made over the last year in the game. People become very attached to their characters, and they know if they threaten to tarnish those memories, players will pay whatever fee they throw in their face to do so. It's just sad to see the desperate steps Blizzard has to go to meet that quarterly earning mark. Just make a good game and let people play it. You will make enough money, Blizzard. You always have and you always will. Quit being so damn greedy. And no, it's not all Activision's fault. Blizzard's just as guilty as anybody else. Thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far, I do want to personally thank you for sticking it out with me. I appreciate anyone watching these videos and supporting this channel. So what are your thoughts? Do you agree or disagree? I don't mind if you disagree, at least be respectful, but I am genuinely interested on people's thoughts and feelings about this subject. I know many people love Classic WoW and want to see Classic TBC succeed. Go ahead and leave your comments down in the video, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.